You're the tech brain behind the company, but for you, is it hard?
Today, if I don't read up for 2 days, I'm outdated.
Ixigo has been leading travel innovation in India for the last 10 years.
And we want to grow that almost 2x in the next 2 years.
Tara is the world's first travel assistant completely powered by deep learning.
I used to remember the team was showing me an app by which you could find all train schedules and how you book stuff for Ixigo.
Ixigo is up, flying away 14%.
How is AI being integrated into every aspect of Ixigo?
AI is able to help us drive more margins and more revenue in the business.
India, everybody says, will be the adoption play.
Non-adopters is not an option anymore.
And the window is closing.
AI is the biggest, most transformative technology you've ever seen.
Ever seen and probably will ever see. One of the biggest inflection point in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
It's a horizontal superpower.
Do you see AI becoming a competitive advantage and a differentiator for companies?
This has been the easiest tech that has come in our lifetime. A tech which doesn't need to be learned. It is so easy and so preemptive.
So with us here now, founders of Ixigo, Aloke and Rajnish, to talk about how AI is powering Ixigo, powering consumers, powering all of us. Aloke, to you first. You know, you've always talked about AI adoption. You've always wanted Ixigo to be an AI-first company, and you probably started long ago. But right now, do you see this trend accelerating at a never thought before pace?
Yeah, so I think just to give some context, right? Like when we started Ixigo, I think we were early movers on AI, and there's a solid reason for that. You know, Rajnish, my co-founder, actually started dabbling with AI back in 2004 when he actually presented a conference paper at MIT.
2004.
2004, when not many people talked about AI. And I think very early days, even when people were not calling it AI, it was either machine learning or predictive sciences, or, you know, we'd started dabbling with it as early as 2010, 11. And, you know, by 2012, 13, we had applications live being used by millions of users every year. So I think we've been fairly early in that journey. And the reason for that is we believe that the power that AI gives us to transform the user experience, to build products that are preemptive, predictive, intuitive, and also which essentially build in personalization. I think those are things that AI allowed us to do very, very early in the journey. And, you know, the pain areas that we solved for travelers, let's say in tier 2, 3 towns, the scale at which we operate, I think it would have been impossible to solve them without the use of AI. So you know, for us, it's been fairly transformative. And now it feels like we're only getting started on that journey with the wave of LLMs and, you know, the subsequent AI adoption that we are seeing both internally and you know, in the products that are live for our users. I think it's just accelerated massively in the last couple of years, and the future looks very exciting from here.
Rajnish, who better than you to then talk about this recent wave? And that's what all of us are excited to talk about. Ixigo is a travel tech company, but the way you're seeing AI evolve and the way you're integrating AI now into every system, as you were telling me, every function, every role, just share with us first your broad thoughts on what has happened in the last couple of years. How transformative do you think AI is?
I think it's one of the biggest inflection point in the history of humanity. And it's
Wow,
not like
that's something it's something you believe in.
Definitely.
AI is the biggest, most transformative technology you've ever seen.
ever seen and probably will ever see. I mean, I can't talk much about the future, but
Yeah.
but the way it's happening, and I think it's far beyond what, you know, the internet revolution or the wheel or the industrial revolution achieved, because fundamental difference between this tech and any other tech is that every other tech in the past, it was transformative to the extent that it made human beings a little bit more efficient with the use of tech. But this technology has the potential to not just replace us, but to create an order of magnitude better version of us, you know, and that part is a little scary as well. But yeah, I mean, what has happened in the past is, like, just to explain in simple terms, like some of these AI models based on transformers, which were built in the early days, I think the aha moment was when people realized that they could use a massive amount of data to train them, and then the accuracy of what they could do just massively improved. And I think that's when, you know, a lot of money went into training those models, you know, amassing all that data, spending money on GPU and training. And then, you know, what has happened in the last couple of years is that we've seen this getting plateaued a little bit because most of these frontier model owners, they already have models which are more or less at the same level.
Yeah.
And so from here to, if you want to get to AGI or to super intelligence, the amount of resources and compute that you need
Is massive.
massive
Yeah.
because there is no more data left. And so you would need synthetic data, and that would require inference cost. And then, if you have to kind of combine inference cost with GPUs and power and everything else, and obviously there has to be a layer of evals, etc. on top of that. Only a few frontier model owners and companies in the world with that kind of resources can do that. And so nobody's going to play that game to that extent.
At least not now.
At
But
least not now.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
not now, because I think there are only a handful of companies who can actually do that. But what has happened is that, this commoditized layer of LLM that has been now available to everybody, it has democratized how people use this tech. And you can think of LLMs now as the new compute. What was compute in the past is now LLM in the
correct.
present.
Yeah. Rajnish, will you let AI solve every problem at Ixigo? And that's my question. You talked about an aha moment. Did you have an aha moment when it came to AI adoption for Ixigo?
Yeah, the aha moment for us came in the year 2015, building a chatbot. And I know it sounds like ridiculous that 10 years ago we were building chatbot, but I'm not lying. You can check it out.
Yes.
It's
It
true.
is true. Chatbots did exist. Of course, they're
True, we were building
very,
it,
yes.
and it was very real. We used to call it Ixibaba, but that was not a very sexy name. So we changed it and we renamed it to Tara.
Tara, yeah.
And,
I like Tara.
Yeah, and the realization was that we were trying to do something transformative back then. So what we were trying to do is that we built a knowledge graph of travel, and we built a layer of natural language search on top of it, where we said that we could answer any travel-related question. I'll just show you the right kind of product to consume that. It was too ahead of its time, but the learning was that we could use it to solve customer support queries, and that is the aha moment that made us pivot from being a meta search to OTA, because we always thought that the OTA business was far more operationally intensive, so to say.
Explain OTA to a viewer.
So online travel
Travel,
business is where you sell tickets and you have to own customer support as well.
Correct.
Customer support is something which is very complex, and for a company which is obsessed with customers and their problems, we want to do it well.
Right.
And so we were afraid of getting into it because we didn't know if we could really handle customer support well. But this tech gave us that confidence back in 2016-17.
Rajnish, I love this example because AI in action is all about understanding how AI is playing out and in terms of adoption. And companies like yours, pure play travel business, but how you're adopting and integrating, because India, everybody says, will be the adoption play. I'd love for you to give me the clear difference between 2015 Ixibaba, right? And 2025 Tara. How are the two different? And that perhaps will explain to people how AI has evolved.
I think there are three vectors along which I can define that transformation. The first is that I think Tara is something which is now getting more and more ingrained inside our apps and products. It's not just a customer support thing, it's kind of getting built into the product experience.
What percentage of the queries is it already answering?
So right now, 88% of our chat queries are handled completely by AI.
Wow.
And 60% of our voice queries are handled. And this is both inbound and outbound. So it's not just AI receiving calls and fulfilling them,
But also
we are
outbound.
preemptively making phone calls and providing critical travel updates, etc. to customers. And there was a incident, maybe you can talk about the Sindoor thing that happened.
Yeah, I mean, look, when Operation Sindoor happened, we had a huge upsurge in
Right.
customers reaching out for information, rescheduling, cancellation, all that. And we've seen that during COVID times as well. But what was different this time is that we already had our AI agents trained for handling that. And in that sense, was able to salvage the workload and keep our customer SLA levels at where we desired them to be. It would have been impossible to do it without throwing hundreds of people at that problem if we didn't have the power of AI. So I just want to add that, the next billion users that we serve, and, both in terms of scale and the complexity of personalization that it requires to understand their requirements, it would be impossible to serve them without building some of the use cases we built on top of, AI and predictive intelligence, right? So what Rajnish was describing, whether it's Tara and how that has evolved, was a result of our passion for, or our, undying sort of endeavor to provide the best customer experience to everyone, right? And in that endeavor, AI has been God sent, because it would be impossible to bring down, our time to pick up phone calls, or bring down our time to respond to queries, or the total time that we take to resolve a complaint, or reschedule a flight, or change your name on that flight if you mistyped it. Those things are now automated behind the scenes. There are bots or agents that take care of those things behind the scene and do it in seconds what would have taken a human being several minutes, right? It plays out also in many ways in improving customer experience to the level where there's a aha moment for the customer saying, hey, I've never seen something like this get done, by an AI bot. And, it improves your NPS. So when you go to App Store and see our ratings, we are the highest rated apps on Play Store, for travel. Some of our apps are at 4.8 rating. It would be impossible to get there.
You gave some very interesting data, the 60%, the 80%. What's more important to see how that data has changed over the last few months or in the last 1 year? Could you share throw some light on that? Because that shows the adoption rate, right?
So I think on chat, we were anyway pioneers. And I think our chatbots have been there for more than 7-8 years. And so there, I think it kind of peaked and reached a point where, we were able to handle 9%. For the last 10%, I would still feel that those are some of the most emotionally complex queries, and there would still be some kind of human touch required for those. And I think this is not just true for digital world, it's also true for physical world. I think in the future, if you take a travel trip, you would want somebody to kind of come and greet you, and you wouldn't want a robot to come and do that. So there's scenarios where human beings would still be required in the future because of this personal emotional touch that is needed. But coming back to, I think what has really grown fast for us is voice. I think we have worked really hard on voice, and we have kind of, have some proprietary stuff that we have inside Ixigo, where most of our voice agents, they have improved a lot. And because of that, we have gone to this point where we are using voice agent not just externally. It's not just for the customer support. We have the ability to kind of spawn any voice agent for any scenario. So people inside the team, they're using it. It's a completely DIY platform. Anybody can go and say, okay, I want to make a phone call to a candidate and, schedule an interview.
So you're experimenting a lot internally before you even take it external.
And if you think about how companies can really leverage this tech, and I think what they could do and they should do is that they should make sure that they use this tech to create incredible amount of internal efficiency inside organization. And in order to
integrate it across all functions is what you're saying. Yeah.
And the only way they can do that is that they need to make sure first that all of the data that they have inside, it needs to be available in a format. It needs to be kind of documented and schematized in a way that AI can actually make sense of it. If that doesn't happen, AI cannot be very useful inside. You can't ask questions and get answers about your data if you don't have that thing. And obviously your systems and processes and APIs, they all need to be in that
integrated.
Integrated. And also internally, we have something unique as well, which is there is a completely self-serve agentic platform where anybody can come without the knowledge of coding, and they can create workflows, they can automate processes with the use of AI end to end without having to know anything about coding.
And technology for the techies, right?
Correct. It's no longer a techie.
It's a horizontal superpower.
Yeah.
And I think changing the DNA or culture of the org so that every function leverages that superpower and becomes, way more efficient, way more supercharged in how they do stuff. I think that's what the real power of AI is all about, whether it's marketing, finance, HR, ops, we're using it everywhere right now.
So my question to both of you is that just as we have the digital haves of the digital have-nots, are we going to see a wide disparity between the AI adopters and the AI non-adopters? And do you see AI becoming a competitive advantage and a differentiator for companies?
Absolutely.
Non-adopters is not an option anymore.
Okay, there should be no such thing as non-AI adopters.
And the window is closing.
Okay.
The pace at which things are moving, it's now or never.
Yeah. Rajnish, the possibilities are endless. And you were already talking about how it's not just Tara, but also in Azure and in other ways you're integrating. So let's go across and get some of those product demos and understand the real, I would say brass tacks of how you are adopting AI and how some of those technologies are working in action. Let's go.
Sure. Let's go.
Okay, so we've now come for a little product demo, but this is a very interesting room. It's called Viman, and I just discovered how cool the Ixigo office is. Alok, you've named every room behind a travel experience, and this is like a premium economy experience you're giving us here.
Yeah, we've built our office with a lot of emotions behind every room.
Yeah,
So
I can see that.
this one is a premium economy, flight experience. Call it Viman, and then we have a room that actually resembles a sleeper class in a train,
Yeah.
an Ixigo Express. We have a room that resembles a hotel lounge,
Nice.
and another one that actually has a bus theme. So we have these rooms, and we try to keep the workplace fun.
How is AI being integrated into every aspect of Ixigo? Rajnish would love to see how you're leveraging the power of AI.
So, I would love to show you how Assured works, and it's a great example of how a product like Assured is using the power of AI to create basically, revenue and margins in a business which never existed before. We thought, it was not even possible to imagine that.
So real impact on bottom line.
Real impact on bottom line. And when we created this product, the whole idea was that can we sell peace of mind to customers? Should they be able to kind of click a button, cancel their ticket, and get the entire money back instantly, like within seconds? And it was incredibly hard to build a product because you have to underwrite that risk and you have to price that risk inside the ticket, right? That's the value-added service that we are building with Assured. And right now we have evolved to that extent that there are self-governing AI pipelines behind the scene which are retraining these models every night.
Wow.
And they're repricing. So what you see is governed by like hundreds of factors. It's taking into account and pricing it. The pricing might even be different for you and for me. That's how this whole thing works beautifully. There's not a single person that works on this product, and AI is able to kind of help us optimize our P&L, help us drive more margins and more revenue in the business.
So basically you're saying at the back end, this retraining of models is going on, and every day it's getting more and more intelligent. Is that
Yes,
true?
absolutely. The more data it has, the more intelligent it becomes. Also, there are like market forces which can change from time to time. And it is kind of figuring out all those risks and adapting accordingly without any human being involved in all of that. That's
And
the
this
beauty.
is all a recent phenomena in last few months. Like, how is it evolving, and the pace at which it's evolving, and the pace at which you're adopting it?
Yeah, I think these models have kind of become increasingly powerful, and in the pace at which it is evolving is just mind-boggling. We are seeing that, and we are trying to take as much leverage from that as possible because this tech is just mind-blowing. And I think the only advice is that if you can leverage this tech in your business, you can create incredible amount of efficiency.
But how do you keep pace, Rajnish? That is my question, because I mean, it's getting increasingly harder to even keep pace with developers. Even for, I would say, you're the tech brain behind the company, but for you, is it hard?
I can tell you that it has been never harder to keep up with things. There was a time when I would not read tech blogs and stuff on tech for a few months and I would still be up to date.
Yeah.
Today, if I don't read up for 2 days, I'm outdated.
So is that where you're, are you sleep deprived? Is that what you're doing all night? Reading up?
It's moving at a pace which is like, it's extremely hard to keep up.
But if you think about it, right, curiosity,
Yeah,
creativity, and bias for action.
correct.
That's what it takes in today's world, right? Because if you have these three, you can discover and build anything.
Yeah. And like you said, it's democratizing technology in such a way that you don't need to be a techie anymore to be a builder. And,
This has been the easiest tech that has come in our lifetime. A tech which doesn't need to be learned or used. It is so easy and so preemptive.
And today, Ixigo touches so many lives. Alok, you were telling me about how, correct me if I'm wrong, that at least half of India's internet users would have used the Ixigo app in the last 12 months. My question to Rajnish here is, how many lives will AI touch? Do you think it's going to touch every life? And, also the whole skepticism around India and AI, especially India not, building LLMs fast enough. But share with us what's happening on the application layer, the adoption, share with us that story and how that story is playing out in India. And what's your vision? Like, how do you think this will really pan out in the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, I think the battle has now been taken to the layer of user interface now. I think that is where the action it's heating up, and you can see that there are companies which are able to create differentiation and customer experience just at the layer of user interface, and they're able to create interface lock-in effect with that kind of user interface, which is far more powerful. I mean, if you think about what happened with ChatGPT, the meteoric rise of ChatGPT, it did not happen because there were no other models which were very close to ChatGPT in terms of capability. Maybe all of these models are probably 10% plus or minus. The difference would be like it's not that one model is 10 times better than the other model, right?
Correct.
Despite that, if one company is growing faster than the other, it's because the obsession that they have with building customer experience, which is unique and easy to use, is far more superior and it's far more valuable in today's world than it ever was.
Right.
There was a time when Google could build a very deep tech and then use that to create dominance globally. But right now, there is a tech democratization that has happened, which has made sure that anybody with access to this tech can build something meaningful, useful for customers, and they can create massive distribution around it. This has never ever happened
Yeah.
in our lifetimes. And so it's a unique opportunity for young entrepreneurs out there to go, because this tech is out there, it's accessible, it's democratized. Anybody can use it. And in India, I think we have got so many talented people, right? And the entrepreneurial ecosystem is massive.
Buzzing, yeah.
It's buzzing.
All right, time now for a quick AI rapid fire with both of you. Let's go.
I think we can't end it without us putting any ball inside. Because that's going to be
All
ridiculous.
right, guys, I'm going to interrupt your snooker game and ask you some rapid fire questions on AI, but this game seems to be going good. Who's winning?
No one so far.
AI.
AI is winning clearly. Okay, so my question now, first question to both of you. How many AI apps are you using currently?
At least 6 or 7.
On your app currently, on your phone currently, and you use them actively?
Yeah.
There must be more.
Yeah, 7, 8, I don't know.
Your favorite one?
Favorite one, hard to say. It keeps switching because the models are changing so
Okay,
fast.
favorite as of the last hour.
Of the last hour, I would say Grok 4.
Grok 4.
Perplexity.
And favorite founder, AI founder?
Arvind.
Yeah, Arvind.
Oh my God, Arvind's popular with all
popular.
Indian founders.
He's
Arvind
the
is
poster boy of Indian entrepreneurial ecosystem right now.
the one thing that AI is doing that you don't want it to do.
I don't want it to do what I am doing right now. I would rather want it wash my clothes, but unfortunately it doesn't do that.
You also want AI to watch your clothes. And anything about AI that scares you?
Well, I think the thought that AI super intelligence one day could be so intelligent. I mean, it'll be more intelligent than some of all human intelligence. And I think just the fact that could it actually make humans servile to it, that really scares me.
Can you answer if that's going to actually happen?
Yeah, it might. That's my biggest worry as well. I think our inability to understand AI and to control it is becoming scarier by the day.
Reining it in?
Yeah.
Reining it in will be hard. And
It would be hard unless we do not do something now. It might become harder and harder to control and to understand AI. Like, I think even the labs which are building the highest end frontier models, they're having trouble understanding it now, and that part is scary for me.
all right, so there is some scary bit. Will AI take jobs, take away jobs, or create jobs?
I think AI is already, in a way transforming the definition of a job. And in that sense, humans who know how to leverage AI very well are taking away jobs from humans who don't.
Take or create?
I think like any other technology revolution that has happened is gonna take some jobs and it's gonna create some jobs. The only
So both.
difference is that the bigger the tech revolution, the higher the difference between the jobs it creates and the jobs it displaces. So we are hoping that it should create more than it takes away.
Well, everyone is hoping that, but let's see where this technology takes us. Last question to the both of you. One word to describe AI.
I would say that AI is superpower.
Wow, superpower.
Magic.
Magic. All right. It is magical right now. And clearly, the one thing that we can see is that AI adoption is increasing at a pace that was never seen before. And I think no better example of that than what Ixigo is doing with AI. Thank you both for spending time with us. It was such fun to be here at the office.
Thank you, Shweta.
Thank you. Thank
It was our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.